We are with Jenny Benedict. She is the Executive Director for the Sawyer Free Library, and we are talking about the new Welcome Back initiative, I suppose, now that we're actually letting people back into the building, Jenny.
Yes, that's right. So thank you, Heather and Corey, so much for this opportunity to speak about the welcoming back to the library. We've been open just about 3 weeks, and it's just been fabulous to have the community back in the building again.
So we saw that you had to do, obviously, the deep cleaning and sanitizing, curbside pickup. You really had to alter your services. So what is actually still available? I know curbside pickup is still happening, but what can people do inside the building now?
Sure. So maybe just to speak to both of those parts, we know some people aren't quite ready to come back into the library, or else they may not be able to travel to the library. So we are continuing with our curbside service and also our home delivery service. So those are, anyone can call in the morning. If you call before 1, your materials will be available for pickup that afternoon between 1 and 5, except for Thursdays when it's 2 to 7, and that's a bit of a tricky one for people. And then if you're not able to come to the library, you can request home delivery. And we are also, you can also request that our librarians call on a weekly basis to check in. Our librarians are experts at making recommendations around reading and listening and viewing materials, and they're more than happy to talk with you about preferences. In terms of the library, what's available in the library, so we have browsing of our collections is available. So on the first floor, people can come in and browse adult fiction and the audiobooks and music and DVDs and our world language collections. And then our children's room is also open, and obviously in the children's department, the board books and the picture books and chapter books and easy readers are all available. Also, we have Public Express computers. So on the first floor, those are 30-minute computers that people can come in and use. And down in children's, there's an early literacy station and also a kids computer. We had one person come in who hadn't checked their email since March, so they were just thrilled to be able to come into the library and use a computer to do that. So yeah, those are some of the primary things that are available. We also have opened up a student study hall. So we know many of our students in the community are either remote learning or they're hybrid learning. So this is a safe and welcoming space for students to come into the library. There are independent study stations, and we have Wi-Fi and resources and staff assistants that can support their learning. So those are some of the primary things we have going on in the library. We're recommending people plan on about a 30-minute visit to the library. And one way to be really efficient in doing that is to look up materials online before coming in. And then, you can look for them while people are in the library. So those are, yeah.
And what's been the community response to being inside the library? Are people tentative about that? And how are the teens responding? Is this a really welcome experience for them to be able to get into the library and have access to the computers and maybe see a friend from a desk away? How's it going?
I would say, since our first week, we've doubled the amount of people coming in to visit the library. It's about 500 across a week. And no one's ever had to wait. So, there's no lineup at the door. This is spaced throughout the day. So that aspect is really just fine. Response has been really, really positive. We heard from one mom, and she said her family had made a list of the 3 things about COVID that had affected their families the most, and not being able to come to the Sawyer Free Library was one of the top 3. So people love the library. People love being able to come back into the library. It's giving our community just a bit of a sense of normalness, and, you know, a touch point. And it brings comfort to people to be able to come back in. Yeah.
So Jenny, is the library operating under its normal hours, like pre-COVID hours, and is it fully staffed?
So we are actually open 42 hours a week. So we're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5, except for Thursdays when it's 12 to 7. This is slightly reduced hours from pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, we were, I think, at 59 hours. So we opened earlier in the morning and we were open later in the day and in the evenings. So our hours are, they're aligned with some of the extra work that we have to do around cleaning, around preparing our space each day for members of the public to come in. We've had some retirement, so we're in the process of filling some positions at the library.
Well, as someone, I use archives and curbside pickup often through Sawyer Free, and I just have to tell you, Jenny, like the way the staff has been throughout all of this, I mean, just how accommodating and friendly they've been has just been off the charts. I've been so impressed with it. Do you just want to touch upon the staff? And I know this has been, I mean, obviously new experience for everyone, but a new position for you here in Gloucester, taking over Sawyer Free. And what has that adjustment been like in working with these folks?
So thank you for that question, Corey, because I think, you know, these are unprecedented times that cause people to have a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear. And I am so incredibly proud of the staff here in terms of that we've all pulled together as a team. And as you mentioned, this is a brand new leadership for this team. And I think as a team, we all listened very carefully to each other and did a lot of problem solving together, a lot of consideration of the factors that we are dealing with. And I think at this point, our staff feel very safe. The measures that we have put in place, I mean, what was foremost in our minds was the safety of our staff and of the public. And the measures that we have put in place have really assured staff of their safety while they're in the environment. And in turn, what that does is allow them to feel very confident and to be very welcoming to the community and to be of service. And I think, you know, the staff that go into library work, ultimately that's what drives their passion, is to be of service to the community. So for them to get back to being able to deliver that service, particularly in person, is really bringing them a lot of satisfaction as well.
Yeah. I have two things I want to touch upon. One is, don't forget to tell us about the devices to go, because I think it's really important. But also, I want to ask what you're hearing from your colleagues in other libraries and how they're managing things.
Okay. If I may, I'm going to talk about the devices to go first, and then I'll talk about my colleagues. And I brought a few little show and tells. Yes, we launched our digital devices to go collection at the same time that we opened our library. Part of this is recognizing that our public computing in-house is limited. So we wanted to provide devices for people that need longer than 30 minutes. And those include Chromebooks and Wi-Fi hotspots. And actually, I'm just going to grab, for people that are unfamiliar with a Wi-Fi hotspot, this is what it looks like. It comes in a little case, and it's a little square a device that looks like this. And it creates a Wi-Fi hotspot wherever you are. It's magical. So it connects to any portable device like a laptop or a tablet or a smartphone or an e-reader. So these are really, really fun. And then the Chromebooks are what students are using in school. The Chromebooks give you access to web browsing and to email, also to storing documents in Google Drive. And we have a number of parents who are now learning to use Chromebooks so that they can help their kids and then also for their own purposes. These are really fun. These are our new e-readers. What's great about e-readers is that these have titles that are loaded on them. So we have 2 that are best-selling fiction and notable nonfiction. These are typically titles that you might wait for months if you put them on hold, either in a physical format or through a downloadable format. So the latest Louise Penny, lots of good titles on here. They read just like paper. They've come a long way. And some of the benefits are that you can adjust the font and the line spacing for your own particular reading interests. It also has a built-in night light. So if you like to read in bed at night, that's on here as well. These don't require an internet connection once the titles are downloaded. This is all you need. Does need to be powered up, and it comes with a little power cord. So we had one individual come in and hadn't had much experience with digital devices, checked one of these out, found it, came back and said, really easy to use. And she had read all of the titles on here. I believe there are eight or 10 that are on here. So
you pick out the e-reader, and
yes.
Inside that little device are 8 to 10 books to read.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and all bestsellers and notable best-selling fiction and notable nonfiction. So those are titles selected by our librarians from like book clubs, the New York Times bestseller list, those kinds of things. So, and once people have mastered this, then there's a load and go e-reader, which is a little bit of a step up. And a load and go, what that lets you do is select titles, either downloadable audiobooks or ebooks. Librarian can help show you how to do that. You download it onto the device and away you go. I'm just going to mention one other thing.
Oh yeah, sure.
We have 2 kinds of tablets. One is a press reader tablet, and the press reader tablet has access to newspapers, current newspapers and magazines, both US and global. And what's terrific, these are premium titles, and they don't have paywalls or ads or any subscriptions, which I don't know about everyone else, but I'm excessively annoyed these days when I'm looking through a web browser at actually what you can get. It's also global publications from 160 countries around the world. So there are publications in English and Spanish and Portuguese and Italian and Arabic. So very multilingual, and it also has a translator in here. If you're doing research, there's a tool to research across publications. And it also has a read aloud function, so you can actually listen to articles. So Press Reader, you can check out on a device or through our website. So that's really, those are
we need that, Corey, you and I.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, we need that desperately. Yeah.
Okay, well, go through the website and you can check those out.
Yeah.
And then we have some tablets that have apps on the best apps for accessing library material. So the e-reading app Libby is on there, a YouTube app to link to our online programming, Hoopla, which is a video and a streaming service. And also there's a bookmark to our online historical collections. So that's a great way to get into those. Okay, so I will talk about colleagues a little bit, and a shout out to our Massachusetts Library System and the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, who have both been doing a tremendous amount of work during COVID and actually I will also say our Noble Exchange, which is our local network of libraries. Libraries have done, are continuing to do research and put into place best practices across our sector. And because we are very networked already, those are really great supports for all of us as we move through this time. Some of us, I would say, our particular library, we're very fortunate in terms of one of the key things in terms of our opening was we have operable windows in our facility, and we are able to open those and increase the amount of natural air that's coming into our building. I know some libraries are not open and are probably not going to be open for quite some time because their heating, ventilation, and cooling systems just don't provide them with the air quality, circulation, and ventilation that they're going to need in order to be able to do so.
If people want to learn more about Sawyer Free and all of its services, how can they go about doing that?
Yes, so we welcome you to visit our website at sawyerfreelibrary.org and also give us a call. So 978-325-5500.
Great stuff, Jenny. It was great catching up with you. Have a happy Thanksgiving. And let's talk after the holidays to see what else Sawyer Free has up its sleeve.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Heather and Corey.
Thank you.